5 days had passed. Light had come. The heavens had been filled. The seas were teeming. The skies were singing. The earth was bursting with life. But if you had walked across that newly formed world on the evening of the 5th day, you would have noticed something. The land, green and growing, was still quiet. The plants swayed in the wind. The birds flew overhead. Fish leaped from the seas. But the ground itself, the dust and soil and stone, held no footprints. No creatures wandered the forests. No animals grazed the fields. The stage was set. The table was prepared. But the guests had not yet arrived. And so, on the 6th day, God finished what he started. God spoke, "Let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, the livestock, the creatures that move along the ground, and the wild animals." And it happened. The earth responded. Suddenly everywhere movement. Cattle grazing in the fields. Lions stretching in the tall grass. Elephants lumbering through the plains. Rabbits darting into the underbrush. Wolves running in packs. Bears fishing in the rivers. Deer bounding through the forests. Creatures great and small. Some with fur. Some with scales. Some with armor like shells. Every shape, every size, every temperament. Predator and prey, side by side. Not hunting yet, not fleeing, just living, moving through the garden God had planted, drinking from the rivers, resting in the shade of the trees. The earth was no longer silent. It was roaring, bleating, trumpeting, chirping, a symphony of sound. A celebration of life. And God looked at it all, the cattle and the wild beasts and everything that crawled, and he saw that it was good. But he wasn't finished. Not yet. Because now, something shifted. Up until this moment, God had spoken creation into existence with a word. Let there be light, and there was. Let the waters teem, and they did. Simple, immediate, effortless. But now, on this 6th day, with the earth full and the heavens watching, God paused, and he said something different. Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness. Let us. Our image. Not a command to the earth. Not a word spoken into the void. This was conversation within the Godhead, within the Trinity. Father, Son, and Spirit deciding together. Planning, purposing, because what came next wasn't just another creature. This was something different, something that would carry the very image of God, something that would walk with him, speak with him, rule with him. This wasn't just creation. This was relationship. And so God knelt down. Not literally, God is spirit, but the Bible uses this language to help us understand. It says, "The Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground." Formed, not spoke, not commanded. Formed, like a potter at a wheel, like an artist sculpting clay. Intimate, intentional, personal. God took the dust, the same soil that had produced the plants, the same earth the animals walked on, and he shaped it. Lungs, heart, bones, skin, hands that could create, eyes that could see, a mind that could think, a body formed from nothing, but not yet alive, just dust, shaped, waiting. And then God breathed. He leaned close to this form, this lifeless sculpture of earth, and he breathed into its nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being, not just alive, living. Adam, the first human, the first image bearer, the first to open his eyes and see the world God had made, the first to breathe the air, feel the sun, hear the birds, the first to stand on 2 feet and look around and realize he was not alone. God was there, right there, closer than breath, And God placed the man in a garden, Eden, a place in the east, planted by God's own hands. Trees of every kind pleasing to the eye, good for food. Rivers flowing through it, watering the land. Gold and precious stones hidden in the ground. It wasn't just beautiful, it was perfect. A sanctuary, a home. And God gave Adam purpose. Work it and take care of it, not as a burden, as a partnership. God had created. Now Adam would cultivate. God had planted. Now Adam would tend. This wasn't slavery. This was calling. Adam walked through the garden, naming the animals. Lions, eagles, horses, bears, each one God brought to him. And whenever Adam called it, that was its name. God trusted him, honored him, gave him authority and freedom. But still, something was missing. God looked at Adam walking alone through the garden, surrounded by beauty, but without companionship. And he said something remarkable. It is not good for the man to be alone. Not good. For the first time in all of creation, something was not good. Not because Adam was broken, not because the garden was lacking, but because humanity was incomplete. Adam had God. He had purpose. He had paradise. But he had no one to share it with. No one to walk beside him. No one to see him, know him, partner with him. And so God said, I will make a helper suitable for him, not a servant, not an assistant. A helper ezer in Hebrew, a word used for God himself when he comes to our aid. Someone equal, someone strong, someone necessary. And so God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep. And while he slept, God took one of his ribs and closed up the place with flesh. And from that rib, he made a woman. When Adam woke, she was there, standing before him in the garden, bone of his bone, flesh of his flesh. And Adam, who had named every creature, who had walked with God, who had seen the beauty of all creation, looked at her and spoke the first recorded words of a human being. This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man. Not a command, not a declaration, a song, poetry, joy, finally, someone like him, someone to walk with, to dream with, to build with. And God blessed them. He said, be fruitful and increase in number. Fill the earth and subdue it, the same blessing he gave the fish and the birds. But to humanity, he added more. Rule over the fish in the sea, and the birds in the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground. Stewards, rulers, caretakers, not tyrants. Partners with God in the ongoing work of creation. And God looked at everything he had made, the light and the darkness, the sky and the seas, the land and the plants, the sun and the moon and the stars, the fish and the birds, the animals, and the man and the woman. And he saw that it was very good. Not just good, very good. And then God rested. On the seventh day, he stopped creating. Not because he was tired. God doesn't grow weary, but because the work was complete. Everything he set out to do was finished. And so he rested. He blessed the seventh day and made it holy. A day set apart, a rhythm built into creation itself. 6 days of work, 1 day of rest. Not as a rule, as a gift. A reminder that we are not defined by what we produce. That rest is sacred. That God himself delights in stillness. And so the heavens and the earth were completed. All their vast array. Perfect, whole, beautiful. God and humanity walking together in the garden. No shame, no fear, no death. Just relationship, just life, just peace. But we know how the story goes, don't we? We know what comes next. The serpent, the fruit, the fall. But that's not this story. This story ends here, in the garden, in the beginning, when everything was exactly as it should be, when God walked with his image bearers in the cool of the day, when creation was complete. This is how it all began, not with chaos, with purpose, not with accident, with design, not with emptiness, with love. God spoke, and the universe responded. He formed, and humanity came to life. He rested, and creation was complete. And even now, thousands of years later, after the fall, after the flood, after everything that's gone wrong, God is still creating, still forming, still breathing life into dust, still walking with his image bearers, still calling us very good. Thank you for walking through this story with me. If it moved you, share it. If it reminded you of who God is, let it change how you see yourself. Because you are not an accident. You are not a mistake. You were formed, breathed into, blessed. You carry the image of the Creator. And that changes everything.